Good morning, Ratman. I'm your host. I fucked it up.
It's fine.
Good morning, Ratman. I'm your host, Sneak Rat Shay, and joining me, stuck in the void, is Corgi.
Please help.
Today's episode is brought to you by rats. They're in your walls. Cause I am occasionally like laying well, not asleep, obviously, but like laying in bed at night, and I just hear like scratching in the walls, and I'm like, this is it. This is where the rats come out.
Don't worry, Sif will take care of him. She's a good girl.
This is where I wake up in the basement next to my poorly named cat, and I murdered a bunch of people. So, whenever that episode released, we covered some background on the Skaven. So now we are going to cover the 5 great clans of the Skaven this week. Koi, do you remember what the 5 great clans are?
I have it in my notes. It's Skryre, Moulder, Verminus, Pestilence, and Eshin.
Yep. Pestilence is also spelled stupid, and it was really annoying every single time I wrote it down. It's Pestilence, not Pestilence.
Yeah, you're enunciating it in a way that you think I might understand, but no.
Also, I said Skryre. I keep calling them Skryre. They're not called Skryre. They're Skryre. There's an
Skryre.
extra R in there. The entire time that I have known about Skryre's existence, I have called them Skryre. And reading this was when I learned that they were called Skryre. Like, I played so much Total War Warhammer with Skryre and never registered that they were not called that. And I will almost certainly continue to call them Skryre throughout this podcast because I will inevitably forget.
I mean, to be fair, Skryre sounds much more natural. Like, Skaven, Skryre,
Yeah.
kind of works hand in hand.
Some of them have really good names, and some of them have really shit names as far as clan names go.
Yes, Vermins.
So there are 5 great clans, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are billions of clans. A clan can be 1 rat and his 12 bodyguards, or it could be 1,000,000 rats. And every great clan is made up of other clans. So there might be millions of clans that make up clans Skryre. There is also a 6th clan called the Master Clan.
Oh, great. Love it when anything says master something.
Yeah, remember how I said there's a 3rd level of democracy?
Ah, yes.
That's the Master Clan. They're also the Order of Grey Seers. We'll get more into them. But as far as the Codex went, or Battle Tome, they really give a lot of detail about what Clan Skryre and what Clan Pestilence has been doing, and a lot of backstory on them, and then a bit on the Eshin, and then for Verminus, fucking nothing. Just almost no information about Verminus, and slightly more, but still pretty bad for Clan Moulder. So their section is gonna have it's gonna be brief.
Oh, bless.
Starting with Clan Skryre, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their whole thing, because each clan represents like a thing, is technology. They build super advanced technology. They've got your miniguns, your nukes, your fucking lightning cannons.
Your Fallout dream.
Yeah, they're extremely powerful, like insanely powerful. And the only reason other clans can keep up to them is because Skryre sells their technology. You can buy... So clans are very interchangeable. They can, especially on tabletop, right? You can make a clan out of whatever, because they buy and trade units as mercenaries. So you can have your own clan, and it can have Verminus units, it can have Pestilence units, it can have Skryre units. Very rarely does a battle force from a clan consist exclusively of that clan. They will, especially Verminus, they will have other units. Because Verminus, they specialize in slaves and soldiers, and that's about all the information on Verminus. But
That was brief.
yeah, so Skryre, they're a smaller clan, so there's less Skryre clans than any of the other clans, right? But they make up for that in technology. So, as I said, they're extremely powerful. They, if two Skaven go against each other, it's like, okay, we've got a bunch of Skaven slaves and plague rats, and those motherfuckers have miniguns and flamethrowers.
No matter what you got, they have the artillery.
Yeah, they are the equivalent of bringing a cannon to a knife fight. Like, it might not be the best idea, but you're gonna fucking destroy everything that's in your way. You might destroy yourself as well, because they're not exactly stable. Remember how I mentioned the Age of Sigmar?
Yes.
Yeah. And that the Age of Sigmar started... I actually might not have mentioned this. Age of Sigmar started when Sigmar made the Stormcast Eternals.
Made the... what? Made the Storm?
Stormcast Eternals. So they're basically Age of Sigmar's variant of Space Marines. They're super soldiers. They're made up of the heroes, mostly fallen heroes. The idea was very much just described was Valhalla. Like, you've got your best heroes, they go to battle, they're about to die, or they die, and then Sigmar just yoinks them and reforges them into a Stormcast Eternal, so they lose all of their memories, and then makes them these super soldiers, and then they seemingly can also bypass realm gates by just coming down in lightning. Like, they arrive in lightning, they're lightning powered, and they also can't, like, really die, so whenever they die, they're just reforged and lose their memories again. That's sort of like what they're going for 4th edition, is the whole Sigmar lied, which is the Stormcast Eternals becoming aware of the fact that their minds are being wiped every single time they die.
Ooh.
It's interesting. There's a lot of interesting lore in Age of Sigmar, and I'm interested to read more about it.
Sounds like that could be the next episode.
No, the next episode is something more Lovecraftian.
Excellent. Love
yes.
that.
I picked it specifically for you.
Yes. You know me so well.
The next episode is also 40k. We will be delving into 40k, predominantly more into 40k than fantasy, because I know 40k. I got into the game in 40k. I've been paying attention to the lore of 40k for 15 years. I know very little about Age of Sigmar. I saw the rats and went, they seem cool. I played Vermintide and went, I love these rats. I played Total War Warhammer and went, I love these rats. And then the Lizard Men look awesome. And then I went to go buy Lizard Men and saw all of their models and went, these look fucking stupid. I hate these. These look ugly as shit. And then they came out with new models, and now I'm going to get them at some point. Once I paint all my Imperial Guard and my Sisters of Battle and my Necrons, I have so much to paint.
Oh, you poor thing.
I have an insane pile of shame.
Oh, me too. Except it's called me. And I operate myself.
So, fuck. Oh, that was a sidetrack.
So, Clan Skryre, they're the technology group. The technology clan, they're small, but they got big guns.
Yeah, so Age of Sigmar. Once Sigmar decided to push out into the realms of chaos, because the 7 other realms were owned by chaos at this time, it took everyone by surprise. Like, no one else knew what was going on. The battle tomes really established that was kind of wild. That Tzeentch didn't even know what was going on. Because everyone else, it makes sense that it took him by surprise, but Tzeentch is supposed to know everything, and Tzeentch didn't know what was happening. Sigmar was able to successfully hide it from everyone, and no one was prepared. So when they came out fucking swinging, and just tore through chaos, and tore through the lands of the Skaven, everyone except for Clan Skryre, who knew it was coming. Clan Skryre was aware of what Sigmar was doing. They are the only faction that knew what was coming, and they prepared for it. They prepared their defenses, so when the Stormcast Eternals showed up, Skryre was ready. Which, as I said, remember, Skaven don't plan ahead.
Oh yeah.
They fucking planned ahead. They planned ahead so far in advance, they stocked up an arsenal for a thing that no one knew was coming. But they did.
Kind of like being a doomsday prepper who knows for an absolute fact that shit's about to hit the fan, and if
Yeah.
someone doesn't do something about it, everyone's fucked.
The only way they can know that was if they had Skaven, and like a lot of Skaven, in Azir, which is, heaven. Which, like, imagine you're just like chilling in heaven with Jesus and Muhammad and shit. And then like a rat runs by you and you point it out and you're like, oh, it's a rat. And Jesus just stares at you and goes, oh no. And then there's a giant lockdown as all of the angels are just knocking over chairs. They're like going through everything, looking for everything, and panic. Panic is set in. And you just say, it's just a rat. What's the problem? And Muhammad just turns and looks at you and goes, no, you don't understand. They know.
They're big fucking rats, man.
That's what has happened. Is you've got heaven that has been able to protect its deepest secret from the God that knows everything. And a bunch of fucking rats knew. Just a bunch of backstabbing rats that just cannot plan in advance. And they plan. They plan for as long as God is planning. And they're fucking ready.
It's like a bunch of goldfish starting a war. And you're thinking, well, they're going to be fine. They're just goldfish. What can they do? Up until you've got a goldfish in a fishy mech suit just stomping you to dust.
It's like if the Nazis went, hey, we've got this U-boat technology. We're gonna crush World War II. And then they get into the ocean and there's a bunch of goldfish and they're like, surprise, motherfucker. And they have their own U-boats. Like...
Axis-powered goldfish. Or would they be just a neutral clan that doesn't give a shit about the Axis, the Allies, whatever?
I feel like it would be like a Namor situation where they're just like, attack anyone that enters the ocean. Like, this is our land, motherfucker.
70% of the world is ours. Piss off.
Yeah.
Terrifying to think about. That a mindless, well, not really mindless, just a complete race of impulsive, backstabbing idiots. And what they've done is they've formulated a plan which is out of character. They've stuck to that plan, which is also out of character. And they were the only ones who knew.
They were the only ones who successfully went toe-to-toe with God, because they were the only ones that knew what God was doing.
I'm just imagining a bunch of little rats just staring up at God with a giant fucking minigun. And they're each just like, come on. Like a huge rat king.
What makes Skryre more powerful, right, than the other stuff? So you know how I said that all of Skaven technology is powered by Warpstone?
Mm-hmm.
So there's another technology called Realmstone, which it didn't describe whether it was more powerful or less powerful than Warpstone. It was kind of like wishy-washy on whether it is. The Skaven believe that it's not. They very much are like, no, this Realmstone is shit. It's not worth getting, so they don't fuck with it. Skryre, on the other hand, went, what if we fuck with it? So they took a bunch of Realmstone, ground it up into powder, and then chucked it on their Warpstone engines and like their cannons, and it just supercharged them. Like, all of a sudden their technology was vastly more powerful.
So it was sort of an overclock.
Yeah, they basically overclocked all of their weaponry. But each realm has its own unique version of Realmstone. As I said, there's eight realms. So Skryre's current plan is they are digging null holes into each realm specifically to get each individual realmstone so that they can mix it in with their weaponry. No other Skaven knows how to do this. I actually wrote the name of who they killed because they've got dumb names. So no other Skaven clan knows how to mix realmstone with warpstone. And this was discovered by Arch Warlock Scratch of Clan Essex, which is a...
Essex.
Not Essex. Ezek.
Oh, is he like the fucking Papers, Please people?
Sure. I only know Astotsia. Glory to Astotsia.
The Ezek order.
So, Archwarlock Scratch of Clan Essex, who... Essex... Fucking... There's not even an S.
You keep doing that, adding letters where they don't belong.
It's all over the Skaven place. So they... He was a nobody. He was just like a general engineer. Archwarlock is like their top. Skaven.
Oh god, the Skaven's affecting him!
I will become rat. By the time I finish this podcast, I will be a rat man.
And I will still be here, terrified of the outcome. Or probably writing notes on what the fuck the difference between Alfarius and Omegon is. Guess what? There's none.
The difference is they're two different people, except when they're the other person. So
they're nobody.
So Archwarlock Scratch grinded up some Realm Stone and chucked it on his cannon to murk Wretch Chanter Bulboskrit and his coven of plague monks.
I'm not even going to put that down in my notes. What even are those names?
Well, you see, Wretch Chanter is his rank. He is a Wretch Chanter of the plague monks, and his name is Bulboskrit. One word.
I'm just hearing Ball Boy Skrit.
Oh, the names get better, right? So Skaven fought the dwarves. I believe it was the dwarves, and the dwarves have airships, and like planes and shit. Mm-hmm. And the Skaven went, "Oh fuck, that's neat." So they took a bunch of them down, and this is what I mean by sometimes the Codex describes them as really planning ahead. It described the Skaven spent 10 years modifying the ships that they got to make their own fleet, which they called Much Great Skykill Air Armada.
Well, they're correct, I suppose.
And apparently was very good. It was a very successful Much Great Skykill Air Armada, which killed an awful lot of ships, which meant they could get more, which then became high demand, so they started selling them to other clans. So the Much Great Sky Armada. I was going to say, I'm going to keep this part in the podcast. If all of a sudden we dropped a thing, it was because there was a drop in recording issues and we had to go sort that out. So we kind of lost track of where we were at. So Much Great Skykill Air Armada was their fleet. They started selling it out to other clans. So the Skaven now have an air fleet. I don't know how that gets through the tunnels good.
Rat magic.
Like, yeah, probably something akin to that. Clan Skryre and Pestilence are currently the two most powerful Skaven clans. They own, I think, like 4 seats each, and they're on the precipice of the Civil War. Skryre is doing so good because because they were the only Skaven that didn't take any, or took minimal damage to the Age of Sigmar. They're just crushing it because they were prepared. Which brings me to Clan Pestilence. What do you think their speciality is?
Well, couldn't possibly be Pestilence, could it?
Yep. So,
plague doctors, except the
I'm getting killed by the fucking Clan Pestilence. Clan Pestilence's big thing is biological warfare. They make a lot of diseases and plagues and just release them. Pestilence and Nurgle, good mates. And they team up from time to time because they are immune from each other's ability, right? So if you're like working with Pestilence or Nurgle, you're just going to fucking die. You're just going to get a disease and die. But if they work together...
Which doesn't really make sense considering, their god wants that god to be basically starved to death.
Yeah, but they sort of like cover the same ground, where up until that, like the point where the end goal is different, they are both
reluctant
plague and
allies
disease.
Until, it doesn't suit them any further.
Yeah, so they're just immune for the most part to each other's rotten poison and chaos bollocks. This is a good quote about that. The worshippers of Nurgle saw Clan Pestilence as short-sighted, self-aggrandizing little monsters good for only shock troops and cannon fodder. The Plague Monks, meanwhile, sneered down their snouts at Nurgle's servants, viewing them as slow, lumpen oafs whose efforts at ruination were constantly undone by their own excessive sentimentality.
Fucking.
Oh.
So, people in Pestilence that work with the Warfare, they're called fucking Plague Monks?
Yeah, so I considered covering the special units that each clan has. I'll probably do that in a different episode. We will revisit the Skaven. So each unit obviously has their own special units. Skryre, its technology. So your rattling gunners, your warp fire cannons, and anything that is super technical. Skryre's got that. Clan Pestilence, it's your plague monks. I don't know their other ones. Give me 3 seconds. Okay, so they've got Pestilence has plague priests, plague monks, plague censer bearers, plague furnaces, plague claws, and I don't know what most of them are.
Well, presumably just
that's just coming straight out of the battle zone.
Plague-related things.
I know what plague monks are, specifically from Vermintide, where they are annoying as fuck. They are basically a horde of rats infected by disease, and they just sprint at things and rip them apart with their claws and spread disease onto those people and bodies and all that. And then if they die, it's like, wow, you just got a bunch of plague disease, because they infect themselves. They infect themselves with diseases. Specifically, so they can, which that's also what Nurgle does.
Bioweapons and biosoldiers.
Yeah, they themselves are the bioweapons. They will throw bioweapons, but they also are bioweapons. They're also, as if the name Plague Monk doesn't give it away, they're the most religious of the Skaven.
But religious towards the Great Horned Rat God?
Great Horned Rat. So, like all the Skaven are religious quotation marks. They're religious in the sense that they use their religion for self-motivation, and they only really acknowledge the religion and the goals of the religion if the Vermin Lord's like, hey motherfucker, I'm about to kill you. Or, Great Horn Rat shows you a vision or whatever the fuck. Whereas Pestilence are very much like, no, we have to do this for the Great Horned Rat. The Great Horned Rat wants plague and disease, so we do plague and disease. I forgot to mention that each clan sort of has that their goal is to wipe out all the other clans, and it's also the Great Horn Rat's goal is to have all the clans wipe each other out until there is just one clan, and it ascends to the supreme clan, and it unifies, and it's strong, and it rules the show. Pestilence wants to
just absolutely biologically destroy everything in the name of...
Yeah, they want to destroy everything and just rule the wastes. And their goal on how they're going to do this is with the, quote, 13 Great Plagues.
But what if the first 12 don't work?
Well, that's the thing. So, they have 8 already. They have 8 plagues. They know how to use them. However, the plagues attack flesh, soul, warp, and reality. They literally just destroy fucking everything.
A plague that can affect things that aren't supposed to be affected by plagues.
Yeah, you can create a disease that just breaks reality, but they can also create a disease that they can just release into the warp, and it destroys the warp.
And instead of doing that for good, they just decide, fuck it.
Yeah, well, the rats.
Don't forget the giant rat who makes all of the rules.
So the plagues are really hard to make. And require insanely rare ingredients and have to be brewed under
which thank fuck for that,
conditions.
Otherwise there goes Warhammer.
Yeah, pretty much. The listed example is, one of the conditions might be the 13th moon. It has to be brewed under the 13th moonrise over the red veldt, or in the skull of a pox-slain arachnodon. So, not easy shit
Oh,
to
thank
do.
fuck. It'd be a bit awkward if it was just, say hi to
So
a fellow named Clive and pluck his nose hair before brewing a warp-destroying potion.
yeah, so it does raise the question of how the fuck did they figure
You got a
these
phone
out in
call?
the first place? Uh, someone just brewing a potion in a skull of a pox-slain arachnodon, and then the potion came out different, and they went, "Oh shit! One of the warp things." Once again, cause I know you, it listed a few plagues, and one that I think you'll like is called the Undulant Scourge, which, quote, a tentacled parasite that bursts through the victim's flesh from a space beyond reality.
Imagine having a zit and you squeeze it and it just turns out a fucking tentacle goes, baby?
And then just like rips you apart from the inside,
just like
probably.
Ben from the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I was going to make that reference,
And then
but
I beat you to
I
it,
didn't.
because fuck you. Your jokes are mine now.
Well, I just decided I was not going to make that reference, and then you made
You
the
heard it
reference.
here first, folks. He stole it from me.
So, if all of the Great Plagues were combined into one by like infecting a singular rat, Clan Pestilence would ascend and become the one true Skaven clan and bring about the total reign of the Horned God. So, they would be able to destroy everything and all living things, therefore destroying the Chaos Gods, and the Horned Rat is the one Horned God. They also follow, and to a lesser extent, the other Skaven, a holy book called the Withered Word.
Ooh, love the sound of that. The withered word.
It's mostly bollocks and completely convoluted by design. It is written by monks with frothing madness. Does not explain what it is. I tried to Google it. I'm just going to assume it's rabies.
Sorry, you said, what was it again? The withered what?
The Withered Word.
The withered word. It sounds like someone trying to make a parody of Hogwarts. In the withered world. Cut that out.
I think what you mean, just say cut that out.
Yes, I did. I said cut that out.
I'm going to specifically keep this in now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll remember that.
I get to make the notes for myself to edit what I can edit. And if you give me notes, they stay in. Anyway. So, it's also whispered by Vermin Lord Corruptors, who are the Vermin Lords that are specifically for Clan Pestilence. As I said, each clan has its own type of Vermin Lord.
Right, yeah.
There's a Corruptors. Who just... Ow, fuck, I just punched myself in the head.
How the fuck did you do that?
I was resting my hands on the back of the chair and it slipped and I just punched myself in the back of the head.
Cut that out.
That's staying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vermin Lord Corruptors, who they lie for their own like machinations, as I said, they've got their own plans and stuff. So, you've got a holy text that is written by rats, probably with rabies, and people who just lie.
People would lie?
Yeah, rats would really go into the material world and lie. So
Just imagining you're sitting there, you're enjoying a drink with your fellow fucking space marines. You're like, yeah, that shit was crazy, wasn't it? And you just hear a little rat voice saying, "Kill them, kill them all." By the way,
just chilling. There's nothing wrong with the Lamenters. They're fine. Go hang out with the molesters. Go hang out with the molesters. Go hang out with the Lamenters. Nothing will go wrong.
That's a lesson.
Nothing has ever gone wrong with the Lamenters.
That's the lesser known rat clan, the molesters. We don't talk about them. I wonder why.
They might be one of the lost clans.
Lost for a good reason. Or Slanesh just took them in.
Yeah.
Molester.
So the lesser clans of Pestilence all hate each other because they all have a different interpretation of the holy text.
Why does this sound familiar?
Yeah, I know, right? It's almost like Warhammer's based on real life. And it's almost like that was a lot more explicit in the old world, where there was very clearly like the rough shape of America and the rough shape of Europe and the rough shape of Africa, and everyone had their like clear ethnicities that they were based on. So Clan Verminus,
Clan Verminus.
as I mentioned before, they just make soldiers and slaves, and that's kind of their thing. Is they are like most foot soldiers in the army, the storm vermins, as they are called, come from Clan Verminus. They are predominantly the backbone of every single clan, and like no other Skaven would admit it because the Skaven are slimy, arrogant bastards who think each and every Skaven is the best Skaven. I am the best Skaven that ever did Skaven, and everyone else pales in comparison to me. And my clan is better than Verminus, and like if Verminus went away, we would rule the day. Without Verminus, the entire Skaven
foundation
hierarchy would collapse because they are the foundation of their military. Every clan's military is made up predominantly of Verminus.
So they're pretty much the bottom layer of Blight City, in that all the other clans are stacking on top of them, hoping they don't crumble when that one goes.
Yeah, basically they are. But like no other clan would really like acknowledge that fact or even be aware of that fact because they don't think like that. They don't think, hey, our entire army is made up as Clan Verminus. If these guys went away, we would lose our entire army. They would just be like, oh, we don't need these guys. We could, if they went away, that's fine. We'd just like replace them with our plague monks or our superior technology or hell pit abominations. But no, they need them. They very much need them. That's kind of all that they had about Clan Verminus is motherfuckers are important. In Old World, I only bring this up because I love his name. One of the most important Skavens was Queek Headtaker.
Queek Headtaker?
Yeah, that was his name, Queek Headtaker. Oh, Skaven had phones. I think I forgot to mention this.
Phones?
So Skryre has phones. They're called Farsqueakers.
Farsqueakers!
They are able to contact each other from prolonged distances using Farsqueaker technology.
Did you get my Farsqueak last night?
Yeah. Remember how I said Skryre or Skavens are just like insanely overpowered? Like everyone else is sending ravens or having to come up with like teleportation technology, and fucking the Skaven are dialing up their mobiles to talk to each other.
I love that because I'm just imagining a phone, but it's like in the shape of a rat.
I would imagine it's like a comically large, like Alexander Graham Bell, like bell sort of horn thing, and you yell into it.
Oh, bless.
But like tied to like an antenna that
looks like a rat tail.
Somehow works. Like you can talk to someone from another fucking realm. There's no Norhole or anything. Just somehow it's broadcasting outside of reality into reality.
And even better, sometimes you get spam calls, and people have just started calling them fucking fast weeks. Just, oh, did you get a fast week last night? It's like, yeah, it was weird. It was just fuck.
Imagine like the rats are in your walls, as they are in everyone's walls, including yours right now.
Listen very carefully.
You just laying asleep at night, and you just hear like a ringing noise, and you're just like, what the fuck is that? And then it's like, quiet, the man things don't know I'm in their walls, and you're just like, what? Hold on a moment. Why are the walls talking?
Are my walls talking? No. Oh, thank God. I was worried. Thank the Emperor.
The Emperor is Sigmar.
Wait, no, you know what would be the best part?
Well, used to be a guy called Karl Franz. He's dead now.
The best part would be if you had to, like, call fucking Skryre. Just... You don't know it's the clan Skryre, but you call them asking for pest control.
Yeah, it's like the old school switchboards where you have to call and they're like, who are you calling? I'm calling this guy.
One moment,
okay, please. And then they unplug it and plug it into the other to connect the phone lines.
But with no holes and sneaking rats in and out.
So that brings us to our second last, Clan Moulder. Now, Moulder create they're molders. They mold things. Creative name.
They're just the potters. You
will learn very quickly Warhammer is the peak of creative names. They They really dig in deep to come up with the most interesting and creative names they possibly can. So Clan Moulder molds things. They create mutant monsters with magic and alchemy and shit. They're just like, grab a rat, chuck him in the pot, pull him out of the pot, and he's a rat ogre now. They also have the aforementioned best named unit in the game, Hell Pit Abomination.
I wonder why they call it that.
Hold up. I'm going to send you a picture of a Hell Pit Abomination. That's heal. Man, I can write.
I'm sure it can't be as bad as you're fucking saying. They're not like centaurs from Fallout with that concept art, right?
No, they very much are centaurs from Fallout.
Oh, they are! What a sweet baby!
Look at how many heads it has!
Jesus Christ, that looks like someone saw a Rat King and was like, hold my beer. No, that looks like, fuck, what's the... Shit, I used to know his name. He worked on, Society. George something? Hang on, I need to look that up.
Lucas.
Yes, the Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars.
What the fuck is his fucking name?
Lucas, I told you.
It's not George Lucas. Put the lightsaber down. Screaming Mad George. That's the guy. I love Screaming Mad George.
I have no idea who the fuck that is.
But yeah, the fucking Hellpit Abomination, which, very fitting, makes me think of the Abominations from World of Warcraft as well.
Never played it. So, the Hellpit Abominations are like their most valuable resource, right? That when people buy shit from Clan Moulder, they're buying Hellpit Abominations. Maybe a few rat ogres here and there, but predominantly like Hellpit Abominations. Because they're motherfuckers, they heal. Like, they regenerate injuries.
Oh, fantastic.
So, they're very hard to kill. Remember how I said everyone views the Great Horned Rat differently?
No, don't say that they view the Great Horned Rat looking like one of those.
Worse. They view it as just a writhing mass of flesh. It's just...
Sorry,
just a flesh ball.
For my fellow SCP heads out there, it's basically the flesh that hates. A giant Yaldabaoth abomination that wants everything meat and flesh and...
Yeah, probably?
You wouldn't know. What am I talking about?
No, I wouldn't. Start your own SCP podcast. You'll be one of like 10,000.
That's exactly why. Why do you think I have you do all this?
So they want to bring the writhing flesh mass into reality so that it buries everything and turns all of existence into a flesh mass. That's their goal. It's a bad goal. Most of Clan Moulder are mutants. Like they're weird. Because while they're doing all the magical experiments, maybe they get some FEV on them as well. And all of a sudden, whoops, I've got 3 arms. Or now I've got 5 tails. Or now my eyes glow green. I guess that's just what I look like now.
Or now I have a craving for flesh more so than usual, and also please kill me.
That is actually one of the things that they listed, is they have a ravenous, unending hunger. Some of the mutations that they can get is they just are always hungry.
Am I affected?
I like how you went for a joke and you just got it right.
Am I affected?
Yeah. You are Skaven. You are Moulder. It's all the rats in your walls, I'm telling you.
So if you two have rats in your walls, leave them alone, man. Yeah. They're not bothering you. And in the off chance that they are, mind your own fucking business.
I mean, your where you live is probably more rats than people.
No, I'd say more rabbits.
To be fair, where I live is probably more rats than people. But
they're just people.
Where I live, that's a disturbingly large amount of rats. That's like millions of rats. Whereas you, it's like 100 rats.
Nah, for me it would probably be rabbits or cows.
Yeah, there's no rats where I live. Rabbits where I live. We built a fence. It worked.
For now.
No, it didn't work.
Well, yeah, they fucking go under.
It was a really bad idea. Some Australian history for you. They built a fence to keep the rabbits out, and then they turned around and there were rabbits there, and they went, shit.
It's almost as if they're known for being burrowing creatures. Wild.
Yeah, so then they build the fence underground. It's like a 12-meter fence, but like only 6 meters of it is... No, that's way too high. Fuck. It's like a... like 4-meter fence, but like only 2 meters of it is above ground. We also like took a a trip out of Clan Pestilence and created a disease, and then the rats became the rabbits became immune to the disease. So we created a new disease that causes them to hemorrhage, start shooting blood out of their nose, and die. So man-made disease, sort of. What was fun was it got released into the wild accidentally. It was a lab leak. They designed it, and then they went. Actually, I think it was a alternative mutation that was better. It was in a lab, and they're like, "This is good. Maybe we should release this, but that might be a bad idea." And then it just leaked out of the lab, and then they're like, "Ooh, it seems to be fine." So there's a disease that wasn't meant to be released into the wild.
Yeah, man, Warhammer's getting more and more realistic every day.
That's not Warhammer. That's real life. This is Australia.
Be honest with yourself. Australia is the closest we're going to get to living in Warhammer.
Yeah.
We got the giant rats. We got the deserts. We got the lava. Do we have lava? We'll import it. We'll import some lava.
I don't think we have lava. I don't think we have any active volcanoes.
Shit, now I have to look that up. 2 active volcanoes located 4,000 kilometers southwest of Perth in the Australian Antarctic Territory. Herd Island.
Okay, so we don't have active volcanoes.
Fuck?
There are volcanoes in Antarctica. We've been going for like an hour,
tangents.
and at least like 20 minutes of that is just side tangents that have nothing to do and are going to get cut. Amazing. This makes my job so much easier. Nagash. Remember Nagash? I brought him up. Lich King.
Oh, right.
Damn near a god.
Yes, Nagash, one of the Necron gods. Or seen as a Necron.
Not Necron.
I thought you said it was Necron.
He's a fantasy character. He might be. I don't remember. I have a vague memory, specifically from Dawn of War, that the Deceiver, because there's their god, which name fucking I'm blanking on.
Is it Nagash?
They've got like their own section of gods, which the Necrons sort of killed and imprisoned and put in a Pokeballs. One of them, the Great Deceiver, was also called Nagash, but I could be 100% wrong and just pulling that out of my
Well,
ass.
there's only ever really 2 other instances of characters sharing names, right? And that's Alfarius and Omegon.
Well, there's a lot of shared names in the demons and gods and shit.
That's so convoluted and confusing.
Yeah, well, as I said, there's supposed to be the same universe. Not universe, like a multiverse.
But different
right?
interpretations. Like Zeus and Odin.
So they're 2 different universes, but they share the same warp. It's the same warp.
So, kind of like how the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all of that is connected. Like, the multiverse is all connected, and I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, you've lost the plot.
I lost that years ago.
Okay, I just a quick Google. I think I just made this up. I don't think Nagash and the Great Deceiver are the same thing, or share the same name. No, the Deceiver is a different thing. Fuck!
So there's a Great Deceiver?
They're also called the Catan. The Catan are the Necron gods. I don't know if any of this is going to be kept in. This is what happens when you learn too much, and it's hard to keep track of all of them.
Should we revisit this?
The Nightbringer. Okay, hold up.
Nightbringer.
The Nightbringer, Asgarod. No, it just looks like it's called Nightbringer, and my brain saw N and went Nagash, Nightbringer. Those are the same thing. Those are the same person.
It's like saying Warhammer and World of Warcraft are the same thing because they start with the same letter. Don't go into
fun fact about Warcraft is Warcraft is like supposed to be, or maybe it was Starcraft.
It's Starcraft.
Starcraft is supposed to be a Warhammer game.
Yeah, which definitely makes sense because the Terrans, you've got the fucking.
But Warcraft might be similar because once again, it's orcs and an empire.
Orcs, dwarves,
very
Draenei.
similar. Yeah, it's it's close.
God. It wouldn't be the first time Blizzard's stolen something.
Oh my god, I have to edit this.
Yeah, you're just as bad as me, man.
I'm gonna keep some of that in because of just how wrong I am.
Yeah, character development.
For what was kept in, it's probably like 30 seconds. This was like a 5-minute conversation. of me doing Google searches to try and figure out where I was wrong. Uh, fuck. Okay, so Nagash, who isn't the Nightbringer. Two different things. Nagash is exclusive to fantasy. So
Exclusive to fantasy, so he doesn't fucking exist in Warhammer.
Yes. So Nagash also... So he's from the old world, but also survived into Age of Sigmar. He's one of those characters that just survived the end times, the destruction of everything. Once again, he's kind of a god, but I didn't read any codexes for him. I read the lexiconum for his little bit of information I had to fill out. And it just says he's a lich. It doesn't say he's a god.
Well, liches.
For all intents and purposes, he's a god. So let's just pretend he is. So he's also a necromancer, and his big goal was to do a ritual to kill all the living things. He was going to do a little magic spell, and everything would die, and then he would just resurrect them and take over all of everything that's chaos. Because he doesn't fight for chaos, he fights for death.
And is death also an entity in this universe?
Nagash. Nagash's death. So he was doing his little ritual to kill everything and everyone. Enter the Eshin, the stab rats, my lovely boys. I love them so much. They snuck in while this was going on, and like everyone knew what was happening. Like, this wasn't a Sigmar situation where everyone was like, "Oh shit, where the fuck did this come?" Everyone knew what Nagash was doing and was actively trying to stop it, including Sigmar and like the Stormcast Eternals, and didn't work. Couldn't do it. They were really struggling because, like, you know, they have to go through the realm gates and fight their way up to it. The Eshin didn't. The Eshin just showed up in the middle of his pyramid, which them showing up in the middle of the pyramid, and they weren't there to disrupt the ritual. They didn't give a shit. They were there to steal the realm stone. They wanted his realm stone. But the sheer presence of them being there fucked the ritual. And the ritual just didn't work.
So it was a happy accident.
Yeah. So, well, it did work. But it didn't kill everything. It created the, quote, necroquake, which rippled across all of space and all of the realms. Except for the Skaven, because they don't live in reality. It kind of like wobbled the edges of Skaven Blight, and they had a little like mini quake, and had to deal with like a little bit of zombies rising up, which they dealt with fine. But everyone else, all of a sudden, there were all zombies everywhere. Millions of zombies across all of the realms just rose up, and was a bad time for everyone.
They basically just fucking Call of Duty zombies to them. Whereas, like, they were just relaxing, having a good time, then all of a sudden, here comes zombies with glowing eyes, fetching your souls.
Yeah. You know, fucking, they were hanging out in the land of, like, the fire, and then all of a sudden, fetch me their souls, and then shit got bad.
Not that shit ever gets good when there's zombies involved.
Also, this was a fun tidbit, was way back in the Age of Chaos, which was like when Chaos was taking over everything, the Eshin teamed up with Slaaneshi hosts, who, once again, God wasn't there. They were just sort of figuring things out on their own, because their God didn't exist. Got yeeted into prison. They like teamed up and like helped them take this castle. That was like, they were really struggling to take the castle. Eshin showed up and they're like, motherfucker, these guys are so good. We love these guys. They are our best friends, and you know, they're just ripping their way through the castle. And just as they're celebrating, the Eshin killed the leader of the Slaaneshi host and then just fucking disappeared. They just went, oh yeah, well, fuck you, and left. And like, they did the Eshin thing where they disappeared. It's not like, oh, they're running away. It's, oh, they just disappeared in front of us. Where the fuck did they go? What the fuck?
They are the rat in your kitchen eating Vegemite before disappearing.
Yeah. They are the rats in your kitchen eating Vegemite.
Which, to be fair, we should just let them. Vegemite is nasty.
Yeah.
Tastes like tar.
Like, I love the Eshin. This is their thing. I love any, like, this is why I love the Alpha Legion. I love any Legion that's just like, what's their goal? Fuck you. That's their goal. Fuck you. Don't ask questions. Get
Fuck
fucked.
shit up, fuck off. Their goal is to blow up and act like they don't know nobody.
Yeah. So the Eshin are like they're assassins. That's their speciality. Is they
Rat
hide in the
assassins.
shadows. Yeah, gutter runners, night runners. Those are names for their special units. They just stab motherfuckers. Sometimes they just stab motherfuckers with hidden blades. It was like a telescopic blades, like Assassin's
Oh my
Creed
God.
blades. Like the way it describes it, it's just like that's a hidden blade you've just described. So you're just gonna be hanging out, and then all of a sudden you get stabbed in the back and get hit with a Resquiate de Pace, freaking eagle feather across your throat, and then you're just like shit. Ezio Alderati just killed me. Yeah, they are the embodiment of Assassin's Creed, and no one knows what they're up to. Like everyone has a rough idea what every other Skaven is doing. Like all the Skaven have a rough idea of what they're doing because they've got spies everywhere. No one knows what the Eshin are. Like they don't know what they're doing, and they don't even know where they are. They don't know their base. Their base predominantly isn't in Blight City. They don't know where they are. They don't know what they're doing. They're just baffling to the Skaven. They're just guys that show up, stab a motherfucker, and disappear, and you're like, ooh, wish I knew why you did that.
Fucking mysterious stranger and all shit.
The thing is, like, you know how I said, everyone is trying to take over the council? The Eshin don't do that.
How many seats do
The
they
Eshin
have?
they have never made an attempt to take over the council. They have never made any political power grabs. They hold 2 seats, and those are the only 2 seats they have ever tried to hold.
They clearly know something that we don't, and that's spooky.
Exactly. They know shit that no one else knows. And, like, it's well within their capabilities to take everyone. They could just assassinate the entire council if they wanted to, and no one could stop them, because no one knows where they are, no one knows what they're doing, and, quote, the most accomplished agents in the clan's Eshin can walk on shadows and slip through holes no larger than a coin.
Literally folding into
Like-
a 2D square.
Like, it says they are supernaturally fast. They can run faster than any other Skaven. They have, like, hacks on. Like, those motherfuckers can no-clip.
Also, real quick, that means the last 2 seats belong to Verminus and Moulder, right?
It didn't say...
Because
Probably.
Sky's
It
got
didn't...
4 seats, Pestilence has 4 seats, Eshin has 2 seats, and there's only 2 seats remaining, so...
Yeah, then that's probably right. One of the 4 seats might have been 3. I don't remember exactly. It's 3 or 4 seats, but they're of roughly equal strength, and then the rest are held by Clan Eshin. They're also not confined to like small scale espionage missions. Like they're not hitting that hashish and going on a singular assassination mission. They have fieldable units like in game, but also like within lore, where a Skaven army will show up, and they just have like 200 Eshin that just disappear into the shadows, and like, oh, there's this fucking like trebuchet line out the back, and that's a real problem that's just ripping apart our Skaven. And then all of a sudden, the Eshin come out of the shadows and just kill the entire 60-man trebuchet unit, and then fucking disappear again.
It fucking is just the mysterious stranger from Fallout 4.
Yeah, or you're like running like into a field of like Skaven, like one attacking one way, one attacking another way, and then all of a sudden 200 rats just appear on the side, take out your entire flank, and then disappear again. These motherfuckers are insane. Like, they are insanely powerful, and I love them so much because they're just pulling shit that no one knows what they're doing.
Fucking
like
weird ass goddamn Illuminati. But rats.
Yeah. They also have like, so yeah, as I said, every clan has its own Vermin Lord. Their Vermin Lord can slip out of reality and stalk people in unreality before attacking. So like
A fucking reality assassin. Great.
Yeah, yeah. It just doesn't exist in reality, exists in the void, and then all of a sudden exists in reality, fucking rips your fucking head off, and then disappears again.
How the fuck are you gonna describe that to the fucking space cops? Yeah, this rat came out of nowhere, stabbed him, and then fucked off. Or even worse, they're just like, wow, this guy died. What did he die from? I don't know what he died from.
I would love to see a sitcom of like Skaven cops. Just
Yeah, and every episode it's just the two of them fucking. What is it? Black versus white, like spies trying to kill each other.
oh yeah, spy versus
Yeah,
spy. So
Skaven versus Skaven.
so the Eshin view the Great Horned Rat as the Shadow of Murder is their title that they call it.
No fucking shit.
Yeah. So the who drives like them to kill everyone in positions of power and spread anarchy and chaos until only they have the information and capability to rule everything. And like everything they do is to further this goal. So that's why the Skaven aren't making power plays on the council, is because their plan is to learn everything about the other clans, take all of the clans out, take all of their leadership out in one fell swoop, and then using that, assume the entire council. And no one has the capability to
Stop or predict them.
like stop them. So they are biding their time. Once again, Skaven don't plan ahead. The Eshin do. The Eshin, those motherfuckers, plan ahead probably much further than they are in lifespan. So the two clans, right, that are on the council that hold a seat are, as I said, creative names: Clan Skryre and Clan Strike.
Scurry and Strike. Love that.
These are the two largest Eshin clans, so they have the most amount of members. None of that might be true. They might be the smallest clans, or two of the smaller clans that have been put up by Clan Eshin as a front, so they look small, or they look very large, but they have no units, and there are larger clans, or they might not. Those clans might not even exist. There might not be a Clan Scurry or a Clan Strike. That just might be the
Fucking
Skaven.
shell companies.
Like the Eshin just set up this fake, shell company to just make everyone trade Eshins with a clan that doesn't exist. So they think they have the power of, I know this clan, I know its inner workings, I know where they're based, but they're not real.
Yeah, the Eshin are just seriously the fucking Illuminati. Anytime you think you've figured out something about them, you haven't. It's just another fucking layer.
Well, so there is one more clan, which is the Master Clan. But before I get to them, I'm going to go to another clan, the sixth clan, which the sixth great
Order
clan
of Graces.
is Shrite.
No?
What?
No, sorry, I have Master Clan written down here as in brackets, Order of Graces.
So there is Master Clan. We'll get to the Master Clan, but there was a sixth great clan. As I said, there was originally 12 or 13, called Shrite. Now, Shrite went to the realm of Akshby, Akshai, Aqshy.
So, Clan Shrite. Like,
Yeah, Shrike.
Shriked.
Yeah, they dug a gnaw hole.
Yeah.
No one knows where this gnaw hole went. They
Fucking
just
vanished.
Yeah, they just dug this gnaw hole, spent all of their resources digging this gnaw hole. And this is a great clan. So this is possibly billions of rats just digging a gnaw hole. And they just went one by one into the gnaw hole until there was none left. Then the tunnel collapsed behind them. And they've never been seen or heard from since. No one knows where they went or what they're doing. They might all be dead, or they might still be alive somewhere in reality doing something.
Or they might be part of fucking Eshin. They might have just joined them.
Maybe they all just joined Eshin. Maybe they never existed in the first place, and they're just an Eshin clan.
Maybe. This is all an illusion, and these are just stories made up by the rats in your fucking walls.
So that brings us to the Master Clan, who, as the name implies, secretly rule everything.
Secretly rule, very racist.
Yeah.
Lorimet.
So the Master Clan is made up of Grey Seers, the Order of Grey Seers, which there's not a lot of them, and they're rat wizards.
Rat wizards.
Yeah. So they know rat magic.
Rat magic.
They hit the enemies with your stomach is now a rat.
Oh.
That's not what they do, but they can just summon rats from nowhere and just look. That's a whole episode in its own right. Is the spells of Warhammer and how absolutely fucked they are. You want a giant magic sword that just spins around and kills everything? What about a void? A void that kills everything.
You mean like a black hole?
Yeah.
And also, you say they could just summon rats. Let me know when we're doing that episode so I can stock up on my Willard puns.
Yeah, I've got no idea what the fuck
Fucking
that is.
Willard! At least I think it's Willard. You know, the dude that fucking speaks to a rat? Makes a rat army?
Nah. Okay, moving on.
Because I don't know.
So the Master Clan wants everyone to think that they just exist to serve. Like, oh, we don't have any plans ourselves. I'm doing accents fucking 3 hours in. You can tell it's fucking 10:30. I'm losing my mind.
Trust me, man, I'm losing mine too. My brain, in the back of my head, I've just been hearing the Traverse Town theme.
They want all the other clans to believe that, they just exist to serve. And through that, then they secretly control and whisper into people's ears, do this, do that, and they go, oh yes, you have no ulterior motives. You don't have your own secret council of 13 that is making its own plans and telling us what to do. So you got a democracy that is run by actually secretly another democracy.
That's awesome.
But then you've got another democracy that is secretly running the main democracy. So you've got one democracy that's run by two other democracies, and there is no communication, and no one knows the other democracies are being run by each other.
And this is why we can't trust rats in Parliament.
Yeah, don't trust rat governments. If the government is rat men, they're lying to you.
But if the government is mice men, give him a try.
Yeah, so far Warhammer lore is pretty iffy on whether mice can be trusted. It's just rats. Mice, you might be clear.
I wouldn't trust mice. They're too close to rats.
So that was basically all the information on the Master Rats, or Master Clan. However, half of their information was dedicated to Screaming Bells. Like, the section that was just like, hey, this is the Master Clan. Half of it was, here's this thing they have. So we're just going to very briefly go over a Screaming Bell.
Fantastic. So, Oren's Screaming Bell.
So a Screaming Bell, when Grey Seers go to battle, they usually, not exclusively, but usually ride atop a Screaming Bell. I do not remember how they move.
So it's a mount.
Yes. I don't remember if they're on wheels or something, but it's a bell. It's a big bell that rings.
But what is a Screaming Bell? Is it literally like, a cowbell that screams?
It's, yeah.
Oh, great.
So the bell is magically infused. They apparently appear a lot in Skaven myth. Apparently Skaven have myth.
Skaven lore.
And they inspire, quote, the closest thing to devotion the Skaven can achieve. So them motherfuckers worship this thing.
I suppose I shouldn't really be surprised considering they worship a great horned rat, but...
They are brass bells just laced with pure warpstone. And then each bell requires a 13-day ritual to complete, like to create them. So they have to work on this thing for 13 fucking days to get a bell. The bell, like the ringing of the bell, is what causes damage.
Is it hearing it? Because if so, I'm fucking safe.
Well, probably not. Because like the vibrations can shatter bones.
Oh shit!
And split reality.
Reality bending bell.
Yeah, these fucking things tear apart reality. They are something else. And this is the shit that the Skaven are running with. And, like, they could just take over everything.
But they're too damn dumb.
They're fucking in heaven. And they're just like, oh shit, what if we just stabbed each other in the back? And, like, I get from the lore perspective of we can't just have these motherfuckers that just kill everything and win. They have to have confines. Maybe have a clan that like has shit a little bit more together, which I guess the Eshin do that. But maybe a clan that's a little bit more upfront of, Hey, maybe if we just didn't stab each other in the back, maybe we would not be doing so
Like
shit.
the Master Clan.
Well, the Master Clan are stabbing each other in the back too.
God, everyone's stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah, they are genetically predisposed to stab each other in the back. It says that they are designed by their god to stab each other in the back. They trust no one validly because no one can be trusted.
And they're fucking right to, it seems.
So yeah, I was going to cover the Vermin Lords, which and their different types of Vermin Lords, but I think I will save that for an episode specifically about demons and the greater demons and the general warp bollocks. So that's about it for the Skaven. So those are their main clans. That's their general government order. So this is a thing I want to complain about. I mentioned it earlier. So this is a quote from the first edition codex, which is, "Ratmen burrowed through the ruins of civilization, their gnaw holes tearing rents in the fabric of time itself." Can these motherfuckers time travel? What? The Skaven fucking codex doesn't then go, oh yeah, the time thing. It's never referenced again, the time thing. But apparently, they can gnaw through reality and time.
Well, that's not overpowered at all.
Yeah, but it's like they wrote it down and went, that might be a bit much. And then just cut it from the lore. But it's there. I read it and I was like, oh my god, this I'm so looking forward to reading the battle tome, the Skaven battle tome, to learn more about this. And it's just not in there.
And that's why Warhammer can't be trusted, because they always forget everything.
Yeah, they do like their retcons, which, like, look, when you've got a continuity that's been going since the 80s, look, I read comics.
Yeah, you're used to it.
When you've got a continuity that's been going since the 80s, or in the case of comics, 1936, sometimes you gotta change some shit. Whether it be because you wrote yourself into a corner, or something is a bit, as far as, like, not great. Editing room Che here. I just wanted to add a whole sort of addendum and add more information. While I do firmly believe in the whole concept of entertainment over accuracy, I do want to give you up-to-date information, and I didn't do that. While editing, I realized I used the 2nd edition battle term and not the 3rd. Partially because Games Workshop for the Skaven, they decided to use the same artwork for the 2nd and 3rd edition, barring a red block behind the name, and I didn't notice. Regardless, I should have done better, and I'll try my best not to make the same mistake. So I'm just going to explain some of the up-to-date information from both this episode and the last. This will just be me, so there'll be none of Corgi's notes or artwork in the background for those that are watching instead of listening. Firstly, the Great Horned Rat is no longer Nurgle with extra steps. He's now described as a god of famine, treachery, and desolation. All the Chaos gods hate the Horned Rat. However, Nurgle has something of a fondness for Clan Pestilence, though he still hates the whole destroy everything, as we discussed. Tzeentch, however, will work directly with the Horned Rat, quite frequently using the Eshin to win a battle he was about to lose in exchange for giving the Horned Rat arcane secrets and visions of the future, or anything else the Horned God requires. I wish Corgi was here for this. I think she'd appreciate it. But the Skaven do have multiple cities all connected to Blight City via gnaw-holes, including cities and active volcanoes. So I guess the whole gnaw-holing into a volcano thing isn't a death sentence, and floating cities in the cloud held up by blimps. A thing they have brought back from Old World is the concept of undercities, that under most human cities is a city of equal or larger size belonging to the Skaven, and they slowly pick off people from the city above, and any human that suggests ratmen being the cause are considered paranoid or crazy. Blight City is also partially located within the realms of chaos, and here's a quote: "Stray down the wrong path and one might find oneself in the corpse-strewn lair of a vermin lord, or a bottomless writhing pit of disembodied tales." Clan Skryre believed that Blight City and the Great Horned Rat are one and the same, and the city exists inside the Great Horned Rat. A fun little tidbit is that the towers around the council are equidistant, great word, fitted with snout phones and amplisqueaker arrays, so they can insult each other from a distance without worrying about being shot by a sniper. Also an aside, the seating arrangement is 1 to 12, with 13th being the Great Horned Rat, not first seat being the Great Horned Rat as we discussed earlier. Screech Vermin King at one point killed the entire council one by throwing them into the void behind the throne. I mentioned that Vermin Lords whisper their plans to the Skaven, but it's a bit more complicated than that. They straight up insert their plans into the brains of the Skaven, so the Skaven will think they're a genius and just came up with a fully formed idea all on their own, but in reality it's just the secret machinations of the Vermin Lord. In 3rd edition, with the Era of Beast, Clan's Pestilence has found another plague, so 9 out of the 13. It required the hair of an earthquake, which Plague Priest Ickbite realized might be related to the awoken god Kragnos, who was described as being a living earthquake, and sent Eshin to steal his hair, thus creating the new plague. Skryre, on the other hand, has used their newly acquired Realmstone to create new weapons, such as the Reality Imploder, which doesn't say what it does but presumably implodes reality, and the Warp Coil Annihilator, a lightning cannon so large it takes a crew of 100 to fire, most of which are killed in the process. They also teamed up with Moulder to create Storm Fiends, who have some really cool models alongside other mutants. They also captured giant worms and used them to dig underground in Antdor, discovering an oil-like thing which can be mixed with liquid warpstone, which makes like Ratman growth hormone. They haven't really decided what to do with it yet, but it'll probably be in next edition. Also, I like to picture that they use the worms like Paul Moadib writing Shalahulud. Maybe I'll get Corky to draw that someday. There was a fun little quote about the Norholes. No other race would be foolish enough to purposely open an unstable rift in reality, much less make it the basis of their entire military strategy. One of the former great clans was called Tichkrit, who had time guns or chronomatic weapons, which could age enemies 100 years or so. They all got killed by Sigmar and his units after invading his land. So maybe those were the time manipulations that I complained about. This was in the previous battle tome, but I didn't mention it. But there was a 26-year civil war between Clan Verminus and Ick that ended with the annihilation of Ick at the hands of the plague created by Pestilence. It gives a little bit more information on Clan Skryre, the clan that disappeared. They were following a silent call that only they could hear, and they collapsed the Norhole behind them, which was kind of implied, but explicitly confirmed here. The Great Horned Rat knew what Sigmar was up to and didn't tell anyone, because the Skaven wouldn't be able to keep their mouths shut and accidentally warn the other gods. The only Skaven that made it unscathed were clans who were allied with the Eshin, and the Eshin gave them forewarning, or were favoured by the Horned Rat, and were given some form of warning by the Horned Rat. It also seems to retcon the Eshin involvement with Nagash, that they were there in fact to stop him, while in the previous battle tome it says that they were there to steal Realmstone, and the whole thing was just sort of an accident. The Necroquake failing was still an accident. The Eshin didn't realize them being there would fuck it up for Nagash. They were there to actually stop the process itself. And all the clans fought among themselves to try and take credit for stopping it. Archwarlock Vrishk Corpsewalker, what a name. What a guy. Discovered the Skaven afterlife in the underworlds of Shaish, a continent called Evernor, who's populated by ghost rats, who even in death they still serve, and are burrowing out of Evernor to consume other afterlives. Even if you die, you aren't safe from the Skaven. He then invents a machine that can create portals to the afterlife and summon Skaven ghosts. The first of this technology destroys an entire city, kills his entire team, and then himself. Skryre do, however, save the technology so they can still use it. An elf spends 200 years building the perfect archive that is also a work of art to honor the resilience of his people. The Skaven gnaw hole directly into it and destroy it within the first 10 days of its completion. Sigmar's crusade keeps rocking up at places and finding barren waste because the Skaven have taken everything of value and destroyed all living things. Every bell on Skaven Blight rung 13 times, and lightning cracked across the sky as giant warpstone came raining down. All the Skaven trembled in fear and confusion, as there was nothing to suggest that the Horned Rat was displeased until this moment, as the 13th tower began to glow and the Norhole on the throne began to grow. This is not expanded upon any further, and will probably come up in 4th edition. The Master Clan are now listed as one of the 13 great clans. There is also a notable Greyseer called Thanquil and Bone Ripper, his rat ogre. They are from Old World and still exist in Age of Sigmar. I deliberately left them out as I think might do a video on him someday, but I should have mentioned him at least as he is one of the few named units. Screech Vermin King was possibly an entire council of 13 that unified and attempted a coup on the Horned Rat, and for their punishment were imprisoned for millennia until they became one entity. I mentioned I don't really know how Clan Pestilence finds the Great Plagues. They find it by using clues from the 13 Libers Pestilent, which are books that they have that tell forbidden lore. Clan Verminus has a really bad habit of doing open civil wars between other clans and themselves. Clan Moulder is the weird kid that no one really likes, but is just kind of always there. Everyone tries to avoid them at all costs unless they need monsters from them. Clan Eshin might be based in Ulgu, the realm of shadows, but no one knows for sure, as the thousands of spies that the Master Clan has sent have never come back. That's some of the lore I missed and thought was worth bringing up. Sorry again. Back to the end of the podcast. Which is an aside. Like, I mentioned that I used the Lexicana before. I was reading the Codex for this, and it references this in passing. So I went to the Lexicanum to find out more information, so like what to read, and I went to the source for it, so I could actually read like the official source. What does it say? And it's just a dead link. Love that. Fix your fucking website.
Source? Too bad.
Yeah, source? Meh. We're just going to take you to the Games Workshop website. It doesn't have any information on it. It's just their news. For the recent, like, release of fucking 4th edition, and when you can pre-order boxes that will almost certainly sell out and no one will be able to buy them for like 6 months in the future unless you want to pay like triple the price because of some scalper. Fix your fucking website. Fix your website, Lexicanum. Fix your website, Games Workshop. It's easier for me to buy these things because, like, I buy shit from a local store, a friendly local store, who has, like, scalping protection. And it's also just, like, cheaper from them. They have, like, a permanent 21% off their sales. They're great. And they're local. So I just, like, I buy it online and I drive to their store and buy the fucking models. I remember, this is such a tangent, but I'm keeping it in because it's fucking important. When Leviathan came out,
and
right?
What's Leviathan?
Leviathan was the new edition, the 10th edition for 40k. It's a big box set. It comes with an entire army for Space Marines and an entire army of Tyranids. It includes new models. The standard is you buy a box, and then you find someone who wants to split the box with you because you're just like, I only collect Space Marines, so I'm buying this for the Space Marines. And then someone goes, okay, I'll pay you $70 for the army of Tyranids, and the box itself is like $240. These are Australian prices, by the way. I'm sure there's someone who just heard me say this is $240 and went, what the actual fuck? This is $100 where I live. Yeah, the Australian economy is fucked. I love it. And then we just overcharged things. Like, I see so many people complain about video game prices being like, oh, they raised it from $60 to $70. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's nice. I'd be paying $110 for 15 years. I remember when the Australian economy was better than the US economy, right? Like,
That was
it
a
was...
thing.
Yeah, during the global financial crisis, which ruined everyone's economy except for Australia because we didn't fuck it up. We actually, like, did smart things and we didn't have a problem. So, like, usually, what is it? $1 is 60 US cents,
Oh, I
right?
miss those days.
No, that's how it is now.
It is? Why the fuck is everything so expensive?
Yes, that's bad. That's
It's
bad.
supposed to be the other way around.
No, it means, like, we have to spend like $1.50 to get $1 worth of US things,
Stop!
right?
What the fuck?
For a hot period of time, it was one Australian dollar was 120 US cents, which is great. It means, like, you know, $70 US is like $67 Australian or something like that. I'm bad at math. It's probably less. We were still spending $110 per video game. There was no reason it needed to be that expensive. Fucking Australia sucks. We went on an island and went, things won't be expensive to import here. This won't bite us in the... We should have never come here. Anyway, so fucking Leviathan box sold out immediately on the website, and then, you know, scalpers were listing it for like 300, 400 US dollars. Just selling out immediately because, they'd buy like 10 boxes.
Of course.
Like my friendly local game store, I went on their site and they were just like, yeah, we have 120 boxes of Leviathan. You want one? And I'm like, no. And like, I just kept looking and they still had them. They also like, I went into like a local Games Workshop store and they also just, like a month after Leviathan launch had like 40 boxes of Leviathan. They had so many boxes of Leviathan.
That's fucking great though.
Yeah, you just don't buy shit online and they go in store. Like, I understand if you don't live where a store is, like if you live far away from a store, like, Corgi, who lives in a town of 5 people, like, you have to buy shit online. But if you live in a major town that has stuff, go in store. Or, better yet, fuck Games Workshop, go to a local game store. They probably have stock. Go to a local game store, please, for the love of God. They need your business.
Locals, man.
That's my fucking side tangent about that shit.
Among other side tangents we've had today.
Fix your fucking website, Games Workshop. Fix your fucking website, Lexicanum. Stop having fucking dead links. Fucking put anti-scalping technology and go to a local game store. I'll probably just chuck this all in the end because it does not fit in at all.
I don't even know where we are. I've just been drawing a little rat fail.
As I said, James Workshop released, or is releasing some new Skaven models. They're fucking beautiful. I will send some of them to you off the podcast, Corgi, because they are amazing. They make me want to start collecting Skaven, and it's not just because I started a show called Good Morning Ratman. Like, they're really fucking good models. Age of Sigmar has some amazing models. And people are starting to realize that, which is nice because, fuck. So, as far as when new episodes are going to be released, I don't know how soon this is going to be released after episode 1 because we are filming it back to back with episode 1. As far as the schedule, we, and by we I mean me, are going to try to keep a schedule of one every fortnight, which is 2 weeks for people who don't speak English.
America.
Because they don't have the word fortnight.
They do.
They just use. No, they don't.
No, well, actually, they really do. They just have it for a different meaning.
Yeah, they have it for a video game, but they use the term bi-weekly, which either means once every 2 weeks or 2 times a week. It has 2 meanings. There's a fucking word for it. It's fortnight. Learn fucking English. Jesus. We're going to go to a schedule for trying fortnight. Might be a bit delayed, especially on releasing this, because Corgi is going on holidays to sleep on a couch of a weird guy that she met online.
Wonder who that is.
So we'll see when that gets released. If you got this far, thanks for watching. If you want more, please hit the subscribe button and check out some of the other videos and shorts on this channel. Some of which are Warhammer related, most of them Fallout at the moment because I'm kind of on a Fallout kick. I made a video called Who Dropped the Bombs. I made a critical error in uploading that and may have only released it to Australian people, despite the fact it is specifically written for Americans. So go watch that one if you watch any of them specifically. Thank you. This has probably been an absolute fucking nightmare to edit. And I need a proper outro. Thank you. Goodbye.